Hey guys, this is Amethyst825, and I want to welcome you all to this new origin series that I am working on. From here on out, this series will explain as much detail as possible for each character. That way, all of you get a bit of history with where these characters came from, what originated them, and why they are given specific personalities and such. You know, pretty much whatever each character is based on and this and that. But with all that being said, I also want to thank all my subscribers for the poll that I posted a while back. Well, both for YouTube and Discord. After totaling all the results together, it honestly doesn't surprise me who made it first. But I want to thank you all again, because without your help, I wouldn't have a clue of which character to start on. But pretty much, I'm just shooting myself in the foot here, since I should have known what the original character would have been starting off this entire series. But with that being said, let's begin. When it comes to starting a series, you always need one specific character to start off the entire series. When starting off a series, you want to make sure that you have a character that is going to be memorable, one that's definitely going to carry most of the characters throughout the series, a character that brings joy to people, a character that you know is going to bring in a group of people interested in also watching what you're going to make, a group of people that you know will remember this character for a long time. But with that character does come consequences. You're going to get people that are going to criticize the looks and the way it acts. But then again, that's just another way of helping with improvement or using that to your advantage. This is how Lexy was first made as a character. Lexy, the Union Pacific 844. Now, how did this character originate? Well, it's simple as that. This character I made back in 2015. This is how far we have to go back in order for this character to get the idea of where she originated from and how she is to this day. So, of course, at the young age in 2015, I was getting into a lot of these train series and stuff like that, and I decided, why don't I just make my own character and see if I can make my own series as, you know, something that might be fun in the future, I guess. Of course, as a kid, I've been trying to think of what kind of ways to make this OC relevant. Of course, I landed on the most basic option, the Union Pacific 844, and as I'm doing a Google search, I landed on this photo right here, which now kind of sparks a little bit of trauma from back then of what I created. Now, when it comes to making an OC, you gotta go through a list of how you want these characters to go with. You got the type of locomotive you want, the looks of the locomotive, the face you want to give it, and any accessories, which is optional. So scratch step one out of the picture. You already got the locomotive ready. Now the real question is, how do I want the locomotive to look? Well, it's simple as that. When you're a kid in 2015 and you're limited to such little technology, you gotta work with what you got, right? So, of course, I opened up trusty MS Paint and got to work on it. And of course, like I said, this is me back in 2015, so obviously any art that's being made is pretty much gonna look like complete dog shit. All right, now that that's out of the picture, we cross out step 2. Now we move on to step number 3, which is the face. And this part gets very, very cringy, so I'm gonna probably put a disclaimer on the bottom just as a warning for those with a cringe warning. But if you don't take my advice seriously on this, then that's on you, honestly. That's your problem. Now we begin with the face procedure. Now, when it came to the face, I was trying so hard to think of something to do with the face, and how do I put it like this? To get the face, if any of you remember the Emoji Movie, I grabbed the face off of one of the characters, I think her name was Jailbreak, doodled over it, and next thing you know, that's what the abomination was. Just reminding myself of that abomination just makes me want to shoot myself in the face. So yeah, we cross out step 3, which is the very chaotic face that I added. The thing looks like a goddamn cereal. or something like that. Now we move on to the optional part, which you don't have to do for a character, depending on the locomotive's bases and all that. But for this one, it was 844 doodled over in Greyhound with a set of buffers, a modified knuckle coupler, and a gold whistle. Dude, I swear to God, I must have been on like 40 pounds of fucking ecstasy or cocaine when I made this. I swear to Christ, I don't remember how it got to this point.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
With all those steps crossed out, you pretty much got your first OC ready to go. Now the next thing is trying to get it onto a video. So what I did was I tried to make like a random series of clips and stuff like that. They were never uploaded because there was no reason to upload them, and plus I didn't know what would have sparked attention at the time. But in the end, I decided to land on making a little comic video called Never Wake Up Lexy. The original, though, I deleted a while back, but thanks to a good friend of mine by the name of Automatic, shout out to him by the way, he managed to recover that video out of the fucking bin. I almost punched him in the teeth for that, by the way. I'm not kidding, I'm kidding. I know that's a fucking lie. In the original Never Wake Up Lexy, it's pretty much just Lexy resting on a siding. Of course, those two at a rail fair. But of course, there was no rail fair in the thought of the story. It was just Lexy and Cassidy in one shot. Again, 2015, 2016, and 2017, I was very unoriginal at the time. So I just grabbed random pictures out of Google and out of my ass. So yeah. So Never Wake Up Lexy would be the first little comic featuring both characters. And of course, giving them their personalities was kind of the hard part at the time, because when working with two characters just starting out, you don't want them to be too similar. I was gonna have both Cassidy and Lexy as the yin yang of the group, but in the end, I decided they're gonna have completely different personalities, completely different looks. We'll see how that goes in the end. After the first comic, I decided to work on a second one, which is based on, if I remember, called Broken Whistles. Not really a big fan of that video. It was pretty poorly edited. I know I re-uploaded the video a while back, but mainly because it was due to high demand of people wanting it back. Of course, I'm not happy about it, but I mean, if it makes you guys happy, then go right ahead. I really don't care. Now, in the second comic, she does have a little bit more personality-wise. I will say that she became a little more clumsy, a little more aggressive. Pretty much, it's slowly creeping into how I want her to behave in this entire scenario. After a couple more comics that went by, I decided to just have her be calm but aggressive at the same time, and a little bit of clumsiness mixed in with that ratio. Now for the voice for Lexy though, I wanted her to sound pretty monotonish, but pretty, at least, you know, have a little bit of like emotion with the voice and stuff like that. Now I do want to give credit to Harper Man, because I've known him for a long time, and he pretty much helped me provide the very first voice for Lexy.
Hey Daniel, who is this? Wait, that's James. Just hit him already, okay? Stop wasting our time.
And now, I'm not very sure, I don't remember what her name was when she first started voicing her. Probably Otto or someone else I know probably remembers for me. But I will say I do thank him so much, because without him, he wouldn't have helped me find a voice actress for Lexy to start off. So I also want to give a shout out to Harper Man as well. But yes, he did provide me with the very first voice actress for Lexy, and honestly, it fit pretty good for a while. I will say it kind of did lack emotion, but it was at least somewhat close to where I wanted her to sound originally. And now, aside from all the comics and all that, I want to now talk about Lexy in the Union Pacific X series. Now, when I started making Union Pacific X, the video was originally about a minute long, and it wasn't originally supposed to be a full episode. It was just a mini episode. But in the end, I decided to change that into a full episode, even though it is only a minute long, which kind of doesn't make any sense. But then again, this was my brain around 2018, 2019, trying to figure shit out. Over time, when making these episodes, each character had a good amount of personalities depending on who they are, what they were. For Lexy, though, I wanted to go with a very stereotypical type of stereotype. Now, when the episodes were being made, I wanted most of these characters to have, of course, like I said before, their own very unique personalities. For Lexy, though, there was a personality I was aiming for, which was more of a stereotype, if anything. Now, of course, because Lexy is blonde because of the hair that was given, I already know people are going to be shitting on me for that, but you know what? I still love the fact that people are cringing at it, and pretty much the more you acknowledge it, the more attention you're giving to me, so that's pretty much a win for me. So the stereotype I landed on for her was a typical basic blonde girl. I already know people are going to be yelling at me for this stereotype, but if you think about it, for this character, it does fit well, and plus I've known a lot of people to know where this stereotype comes from. But what do you see in a blonde like this, for example? The stereotype consists of Starbucks, Taylor Swift music, lifted Jeep Wranglers with ducks inside, and a number of other things that if I continue to list, I'm probably gonna be taken down for for stereotyping too much, or worse, get an angry mob of them in my fucking comments. I don't know which one will come first, but I'd rather not figure out which one. But aside from that, she became basically a stereotypical blonde girl in the series. Of course, she does have a little bit of aggression mixed in with that. Pretty much, she's just done with people. She doesn't want to acknowledge some people, but she still wants to at least be around them. But given with Lexy's stereotype and all that, for the original series, it turned out pretty good. The voice actresses did a good job delivering the lines exactly how she's supposed to sound, the way she's supposed to react, this and that, yada, yada, yada. And honestly, I give them all credit for that, and I really appreciate their help with that. Especially with Happy Erin in the reboot that Otto is working on. From information from what I've received from him, Happy Erin's voice is supposedly supposed to replicate the very first voice actress for Lexy originally back in the comics. So pretty much the voice that she currently has now for the reboot is supposed to replicate her from the original video, which I can now understand why she sounds exactly like her. And honestly, I give props to him because that's pretty much just reliving history right there. But this is pretty much most of the information that I have for Lexy, for the series, the comics, and her story throughout the entire, do I really need to explain myself that much? But funny enough, Lexy wasn't the first character that I've ever made. There was another character that I made back in 2014 before even thinking of making Lexy. But that character I will talk about probably next time. Probably for a couple episodes further down the line, and then probably reveal who this character is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much where Lexy originated from, what changes I've made to her, and what she's supposed to be like. I really appreciate the time that you guys are taking to watch this premiere, and I hope you like the very start of this premiere for this new series. Next episode, I will be probably talking about the next character that won second place, 825, originally named Amethyst, but I think you guys might get a kick out of this next one. I don't know about this one right here, but then again, that's up to you to let me know if it's good or not. What do you think? Because I can't trust myself with my own stuff anymore at this point, so I'm gonna have to let you guys think for me. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys answering the poll for me a while back, and I want to thank you all for watching this channel, and I want to thank you all for subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 2,300, which is not bad, but then again, I'm pretty sure I'm probably gonna get more views for this video than the Splatoon videos. Like, come on, watch something new for once, all right? You basic built motherfucker.
a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but which one to turn you into Squirtle? Move your tongue into a circle, the right spot is universe.